Okay, so basically, well, I guess it is technically the next day, but it's still the same nighttime, like 12:58. And I have been awake for like an hour and a half or something, trying to go back to sleep. And it's like, fuck. And the parasites are relentless. It's like I'm fucking starving. So, anyways, I'm up for now. I don't know how the day will go, but for now I'm up. But anyways, it's even darker because that's you can hear her still snoozing away. Hopefully the whole time. It'll be as soon as I get done, and I will be like, oh, I'm gonna lay back down now. Now I'm tired, and that's when she'll wake up. Looks like a dark spot right there. I can't tell. I can't see that good. But there was, it just seems like good things are happening. So yesterday afternoon, is whatever, I did a whole bunch of different things. But one thing I really want to clarify again, because somebody thought I was saying about get revenge, and I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying I have literally lived by spirit, universal law through my life. And I trust the universe. Like, no, going and taking things into your own hands and revenge and stuff, that's the opposite. And that is what I'm saying. You got to watch out who you follow, because there's people out there. And, you know, she may not be trying to sell herself as a spiritual leader, you know. Maybe, but she definitely, as her following knows, she's a yogi master, whatever, somebody who teaches yoga, which they generally look at them as spiritual. So it's kind of like a friend kind of thing. Like, oh well, they think that way, they do that, and as a spiritual being, you should be wanting to lead in universal law and God's law, leading people in that direction, not in here, take matters into your own hands, go after the people who have hurt you. No, I'm the opposite of that. No, I'm all about forgiveness, and you don't hold on to stuff like that. It hurts you. So, no, I'm complete opposite of that. I just want people to think of things, think it through when you're following people, because people don't understand all about spiritual universal law. And the people who are out there with following, who are, you know, telling people, they're telling them things that aren't accurate. And so that's why I say you gotta look more into spiritual stuff. The spiritual thing is real. What they're out there teaching right now is just more superficial. But you have to look into things more, because it's real. It's a real way to live your life that's different than how most people were living their lives. And so it's, you know, it improves your life, I think, if you know you have a reason, if you don't have to run around and take revenge on people and stuff. No, you can improve your life. So, and that doesn't mean your life's going to be perfect because you live a spiritual life. It is, you ride the ups and downs differently. You understand that there's a reason for them. So it doesn't have the same effect on you when you're living a spiritual life. So I'm saying pursue the spiritual life. That's real. But all these people who are out, like, to me, it's like false teachers or false prophets or whatever. I even think that they say something about that in the Bible, and the prophesizing about this time, that there would be false idols, false prophets and stuff. And that is what I'm talking about, is these people who, they don't know what they're talking about, but they have a platform, but they, you know, their ego still leads them to talk, but they don't know what they're talking about. because no, you that and telling a whole group of people to go get revenge and misleading people, then you have that energy attached to you. And so if they go out and get revenge and then they hurt somebody, then that energy is attached to you. So no, you don't. You don't want to. You got to pay attention to who you follow and what their teachings are. But the teachings need to decipher through you. You need to just not be a blind follower to anyone. You need to acknowledge all the information as it's a part of your processing, your programming, you programming yourself. So, you shouldn't just be following anybody where you do it just because they do it. That is, I think, one of the big things that are in these teachings that are happening in the big scheme of things, like with Trump and stuff. It was really showing because he had so many blind followers and they would do whatever he said. And as soon as he was getting this and saying it's all okay, it's great, and all that stuff, I was like, they're giving him some difference. See, they're telling him it's one thing and this has to play out. It still has to play out. Even if he knows what's going to happen, it has to play out so the criminals show themselves. So he can't say, well, you know what, they were going to do it. They were really going to do it, you guys, I swear. No, it has to go. And then on the soul level, all these souls come in to play that part. And, it's a different view of life when you're in it and you don't understand. And so many people just don't understand what's going on in this world because they're just not attached to the spiritual side of things. If you're attached to the spiritual side of things, you wouldn't be stressed out and freaking out and stuff. You would be a lot more relaxed. There's so much, so many people who are so panicky. They've panicked their whole way through this. If you understood about spiritual stuff and cycles and stuff, you would see where we're headed. You would understand, but the people don't look into things. But I knew that was going to be a big lesson on his thing, because then, what they gave him was very different than what they start giving the other people. So that is going to be a part of the corruption. But it's also a big part of, you don't just do something because someone else does it. Everybody should have been looking into it themselves. Not, well, he did it first, so I guess the rest of us can't. No. And for all of the randomness of how the effects are, that is also to show that it is, we're all unique. We're all different. It's not going to affect us all the same way. We're all going to have different things that are going to affect us. Some people, all their hair falls out. Some people, all their joints hurt. It's just all different. And, and they can't kill us before our time. That is not possible. So it is, that is the whole thing about kind of keeping us sick until then. But they program how you look at aging and how you look at death. So even when you get sick, you don't see like you can heal yourself because you're programmed. So then you have to go through your life review so you can understand. So there's it's not like the end just because you didn't get it in this time, because there's the go, let's look over this. Let's see how do you feel? You look over it after you leave. You replay your life to go back over it so that you can really comprehend more lessons. And still, lessons are so much bigger, that it still takes so much different lifetimes and different perspectives and different ways of experiencing it to expand you to, it's for you to get to where you want to be. There's not like holier than thou saint up there that tells you, well, you have to have these lessons done by this time. No, you are the driver. You are the force behind you. You just have forgotten it. That's the thing, is in this world, it makes you think you're so much less than what you are. But you're the independent driver, the force behind your own development. It's just that this world creates so much limitations in how you see yourself and how you understand who and what you are, what you're doing, what your purpose is. So that is the awakening, is the remembering. Awakening is the re-understanding, because it's something you already understand. It's just remembering. It's so trippy, because it's just like going into this game and then forgetting you're in the game, and then needing people to come into the game to remind you you're in the game, because the game is so intense. But there's a benefit to being in the game and remembering that you're in the game, and there's also a benefit of being in the game and not remembering you're in the game. It all has lessons. There's nothing you could possibly do. It would be an impossible action to not have there be a counteraction. So there's always something to learn from everything. So even if you feel you're doing nothing is doing something. There's a counteraction. So there's still something for the soul to learn. So even if you go through, life after life after life, and you don't remember things, and there's still such a point for that acknowledgement, for that to exist, for us to understand that that it has an opportunity to exist. So it is. That's why all things are so valid. Everything is so valid. People just get caught up in thinking that they're not important enough. But the most simplest thing has importance. There's nothing that doesn't have importance. It carries the same value. It's all the same currency. That is, I think that is what a part of this equality that is happening on the planet right now is kind of in the micro macro, because as souls we're all equal. And that is what I'm saying, is like we're moving into that kind of. But you see the stumbling blocks when people aren't in their area. They are not in their area. They need to be over in that place that they call their land. This is our land. This starts being all of this division over, stakes in something that's not even yours. That land's not yours either. There's a bigger picture going on. And, and then they go straight into fear. And, this is a time where there's a lot of bad things happening. There's a lot of criminals that are coming here. That is part of what was told to us. What we were told was going to happen when things went bad, when the borders were open and stuff. That was an open door, and there was serious crimes going on that needed that open door, and that they would take advantage of it, and then they would come here and commit crimes and stuff. All of this stuff was foretold to us just, the year before. But still, I'm sure it all came from the looking glass. I'm sure so much of 2016 to 2020 was so scripted over, they were setting it all up. Everything was being set up for the awakening to occur. And so, all the executive orders and stuff. I just saw a news thing just talking all about Gates and all his property. He owns so much property. And you just got to think of all that property, ownership, which is not a real thing anyways, of the earth. But all of that property however they're going to, do this or transition us into this other way is all going to go back to the people. It all goes back to the people, because it all gets taken. That was one of the things that Trump had all set up in there, was he was taking all their land, all their money, all their things. Everybody who did any of these crimes against these kids or any of the horrible things these people have done, that was all a certain penalty of not living anymore, and financially bankrupt, or all of it would be gone. And so all their assets, everything. And so I just think kind of like that being on the news showing that is kind of just, I don't know, it just starts putting it into your mind of all that land. So then when you hear, all his stuff goes back to people, it's like, fuck, that's a lot of land. Like, I should be able to get a place easy. It's going to be just so much land available. And keep in mind, I just saw this young girl. She was a single mom, 2 little kids, and she decided she was taking on homesteading and homeschooling, and went and bought 12 acres, went out there, got animals, a big garden in, and then she just got overwhelmed, and it was just like too much. And that was what I was saying is, you got to keep in mind about how much land you say that you will take on as your own. And not just me in the comments, but other people too had said, well, why don't you open your place up to other people, turn your place into like a big commune. And I saw someone else in the comments say, well, something about there's government restrictions or something. But, that's what I would do. I would just start telling people, more like-minded people, maybe if she's wants more with single moms, all supporting single moms, and getting out there and not having, the whole thing with dating at this age with the little kids and stuff, and build a community around that. Or, all open it up and let all these women come up and put little tiny houses with their kids. There's so many women who would go out, work in those gardens, have their little tiny house or their little camper out there with their kids. Fuck, I would have done that. Fuck, when I was first a single mom, it was like, oh my God. You just want a roommate. You just want someone around to help even. So that's a good thing to build a community on. And she's 12 acres. Fuck, I'd be like, anybody who wants to come up and, start building a little community with me, come on up. You can fit a lot of houses on 12 acres. I mean, I think a lot of people don't really need more than 1 acre. Like, a lot of people aren't going to spread way, way out. It's going to be just a multitude of different ways of living that we're going to see, but I don't think that we're going to see. I mean, if you have community living, like where everybody's sharing a big house or something, it's not going to be like a apartment living where you are all these different people that you're not energetically aligned with and you're trying to share a space with. So it's going to be like a different kind of environment than what you think of as that. But I don't think people are going to go and start, piling into high rises and stuff. I think people are going to recognize how they feel. Like all this stuff with these energy drinks. I sent it out to a few people because I know quite a few people who are really hooked on the energy drinks, and all these tests are showing they've got serious stuff in them. Like, I don't know what's in them, but it shows up on the little drug test things as meth, amphetamine, all sorts of stuff in them. And I have heard, though, if people drinking them all the time, you're getting heart damage. And that affects people's moods and stuff. And then people don't realize, and how hooked they are and why they can't get off of them. They put all this shit in stuff to get you addicted, to keep you addicted to things that are bad for you. They want you to stay sick, That's important to them. And then the whole thing with getting people in this concept of aging themselves, that also, as you age, and they tell you what happens as you age. You know, your joints ache. Well, your joints fucking ache, but it's not aging. It's fucking poison built up inside of organs. All this shit that doesn't go out of you, whatever it's called, these leaving you aluminums and fucking leads. I don't know what all they are, mercury, like whatever the fuck. There's certain chemicals that they put in stuff that just stays inside of you. It doesn't go and filter out and excrete out. It just finds a little cozy spot in joints and organs and makes you sick, and it makes you, you know, tired, weak, aging, all that stuff. But it's their stuff that they're doing. It's not a natural process. So a natural process is kind of like getting birthed into the experience and getting an opportunity to get multiple perspectives and opportunities to play multiple roles to different people. But all lives have the same significance. A life that is in an hour can has a significant impact on so many more lives than life that went on for 99 years. It is time, and it's about the stories. It's about the storylines. It's about what we're learning from the experience. That is our own personal, that expands our own vision, our own imprint of our own essence, but it is also the expansion of the entire universe. Like I keep saying, it's the whole expansion, it's the growth, it's the learning. We are the cells that create the learning. You know, we are the expansion. We are doing it right now. This is a process of expansion. So we are always in this process of expansion on multiple levels. And this is a significant impact, though. This is like the heavy density of where the burp comes from that releases this energy out in the universe that has this huge expansion. Is that to me it keeps seeming like it's like this big bang, like we have these big bangs that happen. It's just like the same way as like the earth is going to roll over and get comfortable for the next the next bunch of different words are coming to my head, but like all the different incarnations and adventures that are going to take place. She's giving like a new landscape in the universe. It's like a big breath. It is like the sun. It is all this big breath thing, this big movement that is happening in the universe. You know, that is the thing that is the cataclysm, this huge thing. But this cataclysm situation is one we're going to be more prepared for. Like I don't think it's going to be like even where we're going underground and we have to be underground and all of that stuff. It's an energetic thing where our preparation that we're doing is what we're doing. It is awakening, it's preparing, it's letting go, because it's in this, like in this realm kind of, okay, so as your just your essence of you, your soul, your energy is a completely different density. And so that has it is not the same intensity for that density. And this here is a lower density. So the energy is going to be more impactful because it was like we would feel it more because of this density of what we're attached to for the experience. And so the when the energy goes out with this this movement, and it is kind of like, because this is being created by us, so we're sending this energy out, it's coming back. It's like we're breathing with it, and then there's like this breathing back and forth, and then there's like this, like it's like an energetic blast or something, like a sneeze or a cough or something. It's just a release of energy. And and this is going to go positive for us. So this is going to go a good energy for us. It's going to go in the positive, into light. Probably some of these other ones were going into the dark, but we're going into the light. So it's going to feel good. But if you are full of dark energy, then it wouldn't feel good. Yeah, I don't know that depending on how much dark energy you have in you, would depend on probably how it would feel at all. But that is the relieving yourself of dark energy, is the healing, letting go of all that stuff, letting go of the things that burden you, letting go of the things that hold you back, letting go of anger and bitterness and resentment and stuff, letting go of that stuff. So that is relieving yourself of that darkness that makes you lighter, which in turn turns you more into your higher self, into your light body, into, this, you aren't as attached to the density. You're not as attached. It makes you feel different. You don't have, this is so hard to explain, because I've talked about the physicality representation of the experience. And so that is there for you to feel the experience, to anchor you into the experience. When you are releasing all of that stuff, the anchor isn't there as much. So you're more in touch with who you are on the inside. But see, it's like through a process. And this is the thing, when you've not been spiritual before, and some of the stuff I say, it may be harder to understand or something, because I've been doing it my whole life. So I have been living, towards this, going in this direction all the time, because, like I've said a zillion times, is that I had a strong guidance, a strong influence that was leading me always. And so I was in a completely different place. And so that is where, you may be easier if you go out and you listen to some people who, just woke up and just all of a sudden realized the spiritual side. There's all different levels of things happening. There's people who have thought themselves super spiritual because they were religious, and then all of a sudden they're waking up to that and realizing, like, there's all different things happening. Whatever you're going through, you can find someone definitely who's going through something similar. So don't get frustrated on any of this stuff and feel like, well, I should have been spiritual a long time ago. Since I wasn't, now I don't even know anything. That's your 3D thinking, attacking you. Don't let that go like that. You got to let go of that kind of thinking. There's no wrong time. It's always going to be the exact right time. It's the exact right time. Every time you do something is right when you were supposed to do it. Even though it feels like you should have done it sooner. It's going to be a big thing on this awakening part. There's going to be oh my God, how I should have woke sooner. I should have done this sooner. I should have. It's like, no, you were supposed to do it exactly the way you did it, because this was the impact you were supposed to feel. This was what you were supposed to heal. And it's going to bring up all sorts of stuff from past lives and stuff, from horrible things that happen to people. And a lot of people won't even know. They'll think like they just have weird dreams and just keep having these weird thoughts. And I see this person and they keep thinking, I swear I know them from somewhere else, you know. But people haven't put it all together. Like, you got to open your mind and start putting it all together, what's really going on here. Because it's so different than what people think when they're not awake, or not. You can't even say just not awake, because it's so many levels, like, you know, spiritually awake, I would think. If you're spiritually paying attention on this plane of life as a spiritual being, you know, it's a different, it's just a different experience. I keep saying it, hold on. The guy didn't come by yesterday that I ever saw. I did fall asleep. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I had talked about, I would be curious, because I was watching all these old movies, and there's the first time my dad ever did anything to me, and it traumatized me. I was watching a certain movie with him. It wasn't just me in the bed. It was, he had all three. I guess my mom was in the hospital having the other baby, I guess, the fourth one, my youngest brother. I guess, I don't know. Her and I have tried to figure it out a bunch of times, but she kept being like, well, maybe she was having her gallbladder out and my brother wasn't born yet. But anyways, we never figured out exactly when it was, but he had us three in his bed. He was going to watch TV with us. And then he starts manhandling me in this movie that was on. And it was this vampire movie, and it had this guy in it who would do this certain laugh, and it like was so imprinted into my mind. And so over the last few months, I kept thinking, I wonder how I'd feel if I see that movie, if it would trigger, you know, like if I'd start crying, if I'd feel really bad or something, you know, now that I've had so much healing, if that would have any effect, because that movie was like the exact moment when my whole life flipped upside down, that I remember. You know, I'm sure, you know, it wasn't perfect before that, but all of a sudden when it's one thing when you're waiting for your dad to come home to spank you. It's another thing when it's like you're scared to be near him. So I had wondered about that movie, and I would not look for it, but when I would see vampire movies, I would turn it on to see if it was it. So I would look for it like that. Like, these movies would pop up, especially I've been seeing all these old movies. And all of a sudden on Prime, I was watching something. I don't know what it was. And the old Boris Karloff Mummy movie came on, is the next movie. I was like, hell yeah. And so I put that on, and I was watching that yesterday. I think I fell asleep some in it. It was kind of funny too, because it kind of reminded me of this. There's this scene in it. It kind of reminded me of this movie scene of the Majestic, where he is a writer for these old movies, and it kind of was like the scene that he had written. It was funny. But anyways, it was so, I think I fell asleep though. But the very next movie, it popped up and said Dracula. And so I thought, I wonder if that would be it. And so I started it, and it was it. And then I fell asleep. I couldn't even stay awake through it. So I fell asleep. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to watch it. And then I put it, but I heard the guy kept doing the laughing. Like, I was very tuned into his maniacal laugh. He's the fly eater. He'd get the flies out of the windows, and he had this creepy laugh, and he'd be, no master, because Dracula, he's Dracula's little bitch. He has to do whatever Dracula says. And Dracula says, go give me that girl. He has to go do it. So he is, but his crazy laugh. So anyways, I watched it again, and it had no effect on me whatsoever. Nothing. And so I just feel like as you heal, just the things that you think are something that you're going to carry with you forever, you're going to make you feel bad or something, you just let go of it. You let go of it and all that stuff just goes away. You'll see. The more you just work on you and let go of things and, heal. It's all about what the spiritual thing is about. It's like living through God's law. And that's what we're switching to, too. That's this whole thing, like with the immigration and all these people about rights and stuff. It's like you're overlooking human rights. You're still dividing on land and stuff. You're not just considering yourself all humans. We're all humans. We all have rights. We can all be wherever the fuck we want to be. Nobody can tell us where to go, how to get there, nothing. We can do whatever the fuck we want to do. We have just as much rights as anybody else. No matter how much money you have, it does not give you more rights than any of the rest of us. If you want to hoard all the money, that's up to you. But the money thing is switching. So this is what's really, really cool too. Hold on. Because I saw a shit ton of, it was like everybody was focused on it. I don't know how, maybe there's this many people in the Sargasar, but I couldn't believe it. Every TikTok when I was going last night, it was like every single person was sharing the debt calculator. And so at one point, the debt calculator came up and it said it was going to give a special message at a certain time, and it cleared everything out. And then a special message came on. It says it was something religious. I think it's something about, because everything's going back to us. We're going back to God's law. However people want to see it, they want to. They got it. It's like a step down too. It's like the only way people even understand God is through religion. So wacky. Yesterday I had the strangest conversation. It's crazy because, like I know my one daughter thinks like she's thinking in a spiritual way, but see, she's not understanding what spiritual is because she thinks it's whatever, these trendy spiritual people say. Why would you listen to old mom just because she's just weird? It's like, the videos, there's so many videos. These are so trippy. First, when I saw, I was like, I don't know, this is weird. And I thought this could be something that people are just doing to try and freak people out or something. First one I saw was the bus driver driving, and all of a sudden all the kids disappear. And then the bus driver sees and he freaks out on the bus and he starts running down the bus like, where'd the fucking kids go? And so that one, it was still like, okay, that could totally be, a setup. And so, hold on, let me just finish this real quick. And that could be, but now there's a shit ton of them. There's all sorts. There's a hospital, there's a restaurant, there's a bar, there's all sorts of them where just a shit ton of people just disappear out of the room suddenly. And the shit falls on the ground. People start screaming. It's crazy. There's in a hospital where people's cell phone is suddenly on the ground. They're in conversations and they suddenly disappear. So it is really that thing where people are just disappearing. And so it was like, oh my God, this is so trippy. Like, what the fuck? And so the people who are sharing videos and whatnot, they're all like, is it the rapture? Is it alien abduction? To me, it would be like, is this a vibration thing? Is there, this vibrational switch? And if you're not at the right vibration, you have to be at the right vibration. That is what would make more sense to me. But, I don't know, maybe it's reptilian feeding time. So just boop, okay. I don't know. But so I told my daughters, I said, all these people keep disappearing. I think I sent them one of the videos. And the one daughter is always, she's like, that's fake. And I'm like, I don't know, but whatever, all these people keep disappearing or whatever. We should have a code word. And I just like, I don't know what you're talking about. That doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, yeah, it does. Even Houdini did it. I don't understand. I don't understand it. It's like, oh my God, how do you guys not understand? But it's so weird when you're trying to talk to people and trying to get people to understand stuff that they just don't understand. They don't understand souls. They don't understand realms. They don't understand you're still exactly the same when you come out of your body. You're a little smarter for the life you just completed. You're still the same person. And but when you leave the realm, you can't communicate the same. So if we had a code word, like I'm not telling all that stuff, but I'm telling y'all, like it's, but people who don't understand, like I don't even understand this new spirituality. I swear to God, I don't understand what the fuck they're teaching. But to have a code word, because then anytime that somebody, like my one daughter, I don't know, she was trying to be a smart ass or whatever, she came up with sloth. And so then I was like, yeah, that's a good one, because that's weird. Like, how often do people ever come up to you and start talking about a sloth? How often do you see stuff about a sloth? Not very often. So then if all of a sudden you're talking to somebody and all of a sudden they bring up a sloth, or you're just sitting there and all of a sudden a sloth comes on, and that is when you know that the person who gave you that code word is near you. They're giving you a message. They're saying hi. It's like, hey, I'm here. Just thought I'd give you a little message. So you have a code word so that you know that the person is making contact. And some people, you can go through mediums and use the code. You'll know you're talking to your person because they'll use the code word. And so the code word is cool as shit, I think. And but they're just raw. And then the one daughter who had come up with sloth, then she was like, well, no, maybe we need something better. And so I got to say more of what it is, but I was like, I don't get, like, do you guys, what do you think happens? And then I was like, they're like, this is not the rapture. And I said, you got to quit thinking about this stuff on the religious way of thinking it. And they're like, we're not thinking about it in religious, but that is the only way that it seems that people can understand things, is they go through the viewmaster, the lenses of religion in order to understand anything about God or spirituality. Well, spirituality, I don't even know. Like, it's so bastardized, like at this point, what's going on with the spirituality. But it's, it's all going to be with the flipping, because as soon as people start really tuning into themselves, there will be no misdirection. People that just don't know how to do that yet. And, I mean, this is going to be like a really soft open into the whole thing. Maybe all the drama is really over. Hopefully, I mean, there's going to be a lot more drama. There's going to be a lot more drama because the government's got to go down, and there's a lot of stuff that's got to go down, a lot of crimes to be exposed. So there's going to be a lot more drama. But fighting for our lives. But we still have the cataclysm ahead of, all the land mass changing. Yeah, we still, and then like what I was saying though, for the solar flash thing, that is energetic. And so it should be everything. If you're high vibration, this is the whole concept of this whole thing. If you're high vibration, then the solar flare shouldn't bother you, because it's going to be this big high vibration. And if you're high vibration, it shouldn't have any problem. But all the things that are low vibration, that's when they're supposedly taking all of the people that are going to go off the planet. So I don't know. We got to see how it gets closer, how they start handling the cataclysm thing. But I feel like that's what they're doing about moving the people. And people need to come together, and people have to have unity. And there will be something that, the low vibration people, the people who are out there murdering and killing, and the bad people, the dark energy people who aren't here to, go to the light. They are here to bring in the dark. Those people, things will happen. I mean, it can be, like I had said before, that to me, that seemed like the people who would be disappearing would be the people who would be low vibration. But like in all these different situations, I don't know, if all these different people are low vibration. I mean, I would think that we would see like, prison cells, all the people would all of a sudden dissolve. I don't know, I just keep watching how all this plays out. It's just so crazy. It's also supernatural. Yesterday, after I finished, and it was still super dark out, but a light came in and like shined into my face. And when I looked up, I was like, it was like 6:30, and it was this light. And then when I zoomed in, you could see the light, thing, the energy. And so, it's hard to know the size, if it's like an entity or if it's a ship, or it's a bunch of them or whatever it is. But it was staying there, and it was moving around weird, and it kept staying. I kept trying to talk to it with telepathy. I was beckoning it to come, and it did move around some. Yeah, I'm going to see this morning if it's out there again. Watching at my other house, it seemed like these same ones were always over my house. But that's what I believe all the stars and stuff is out there, is like energies and beings and stuff. In the TikTok, because I made a video of it, and somebody said something about it being angels or something. And to me, that is the thing that people have got to understand. We are all angels. We are all that. What you think of as an angel, we are all that. Those are like our brothers and sisters. It's like these angels are not above us. We are the same. We're all the same. You just don't realize that you've just forgotten. Like when you're not in your body, you are, if somebody saw you outside of the body, they would think you were an angel. So you just have to, these things that are out there around us, there are, our brothers, our sisters, or our connection in our souls and other realities and other places. So it's definitely not something to fear. You got to fear the reptilians wanting to eat you, but we got to fear the Bilderbergs or the Bloombergs or whoever the fuck, Rothschilds, all these Soroses. There's a lot of them out there. The fucking Winfreys, the Hanks. There's a lot of these motherfuckers like to eat weird stuff. The Clintons, all these weird people. I just don't even get, like, who even gets you to try it for the first time? Like, that to me is so, they had to trick us all. They had to just put it in our food without us knowing it. They couldn't get us to do it. Well, I guess they could get some people to do it by telling them. But the rest of us, I think that they just decided to trick us and just sneak it into our food. It's just so weird. Just is like, it's just gross, it's just gross. I don't remember, some whistleblower fucking gross ass story about when they realized something about what was going on with the PP, if you know what that is. It's planned. And the pop-up shops that draw in young girls. Lots of young girls that don't have a lot of money. And what they do with the leftovers. And this guy was talking about like this bags of finding and just chopped up parts and shit. It's just so gross. And then they take that stuff down there to the meat grinding thing. Ugh. Just put it in our food. I saw a thing the other day too that they just grind up bones and everything. It's so disgusting. I just gotta keep remembering, okay, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real. It's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. You're really a hologram. Makes me feel so much better. But so anyways, on the debt clock thing, seems like a lot of stuff is going. Like it seems like it's really it. I'm so excited. I just was laying there like 11 o'clock and I was going, oh my God, I don't have to pay anything I don't have to stress about my house anymore. It's my house. This is my house. This is my house now. This is my house. They can't even do anything about it. This is my house. Fuck. This is my house. And I was just like, oh, man. To just be like, to not have to worry about debt and stuff, to not have to stress about any of that, to just have a home and not have to struggle and figure out how you're going to pay it or any of that is like, oh my God. And that's going to go for everybody. Like they've been in such a hardcore thing to make sure, so many young people couldn't financially get in the position to buy homes. Then anybody who could get in a position, they quickly would get them in a position to lose it. That was the whole thing about, getting all these people to go off work in 2020 so that so many people, because that whole moratorium was all a home grab. The whole way it was structured, the paperwork and stuff. So it was all just to remove people from having any kind of security, shelter and security and stuff. So see, all of that is going to go back. So all of the people who had it removed, you got to keep thinking of it, whatever you lost, there was a purpose, there was a reason, which, even when I was talking about all this weird stuff, some of the places, like there's weird shit going on in Ohio. It just gets weirder and weirder. Like there has to be so much hidden history there that we have no idea about, the energy that is resolving itself there. And also in New York, there's so much, it was like they went into these waterways that were all tribes and stuff, and they just took it over and they just went and built on top of a bunch of swamps and stuff. So yeah, New York is just going to kind of go under. It's just going to kind of sink. Something dramatic is going to happen. But all of these things, it's not the earth and us, and you got to think about, this is spiritual stuff. This is a plane of existence. This is where experiences come to happen. This is things changing and moving and restructuring. And so, that energy is going to go, the whole New York thing, I think, is going to be a lot. And the same, like with Florida and stuff, there's probably with Louisiana too, who knows. But in Florida, they have a lot of those sinkholes and stuff. But fuck, so it sounds like goddamn New York could just have a sudden sinkhole and just all this stuff just fall into this fucking waterways that is, it's all built on top of. So whatever, all these things that they always didn't ever build a solid infrastructure. They were just too busy land grabbing, stealing things, trying to take control of the world. So it was all faulty. And then all these people, went in and started trying to build lives and stuff. Oh yeah. And the weird things is when you see these old pictures, I forgot to finish that yesterday, out these old historic pictures, and all these places are empty everywhere. All these buildings, there's no people anywhere. There's just tons and tons and tons of these big giant buildings. Like they found these cities. They came in and they found these cities. So it seems like that America, which again was obviously had already been founded by somebody. I mean, there was already tribes living here. There was all these buildings, these ancient structures everywhere. So it was already heavily populated, heavily populated, I can't even talk, heavily populated place. And they were trying to tell us they discovered it. You bitches, lying bitches. You just stole it. You just go in and conquer, motherfuckers. And, but so it was a bunch of old buildings, and then they started doing all these fires and burning everything down. They started bringing in all the, the little white orphan babies, like all their weird shit. Started, reunification, education things, grabbing these tribe people up, telling them they had to go to school or something. They could no longer be these native people or whatever. It was all a part of, the story, of experiences, of things to come in and experience as the soul, and it's all of this bigger picture of growth. It's a bigger than just the picture that you focus in on. It's so much bigger when you put it all together. So even at the darkest times of history, they have importance because the dark brings the light, and then the dark will find its way back in. So it's just always a cycling. And but on the money thing, so the debt calculator thing. So these are the things to watch for if you're trying to, really make sure. So today and tomorrow, the Wall Street thing, the money trading thing, that's going to keep drop. So it's going to be very dramatic for the next 2 days, probably, as it's dropping, and they're talking about on the media to get everybody's attention, so everybody realizes what's happening, because it's falling, all the money with Wall Street. And then it's going to reach 20%. It's going to drop all the way down to where it's 20% value or something, and then it's going to shut off, and it's going to go down. So that's going to be like the crash. At the same time, so it's already started. The Iraqi dinar is just, I guess it's Iraq, only it's just when you're talking about their money, you call it Iraqi. So, like American, it's Iraqi. So this whole thing with Iraq is happening. And so it's the Iraqi dinar. Unless I'm wrong, and Iraqi is a separate place, but that's what, to me, I'm no expert or anything, but it sounds like to me it's Iraq. And so we have had such a, more than a heavy influence, there. It's like they've been under our control for a long time. And so their money is going to be having these big jumps. So at the same time Wall Street's going down, this dinar thing is going to be jumping up. And so it's already started going up. And it's supposed to make huge jumps. So, and then there's going to be a big thing about their independence. They broke free from America. They're independent, financially independent. Like there's going to be a drama thing about that. A celebration of them being, what's it called? Like after World War II, where the other place didn't have control. I can't think of the word, but it's going to be like that. And so, so there's that stuff to watch for the next 2 days. These two things are going to be occurring. And the debt calendar, I don't know what all it's going to be doing now. I saw where it was still counting and stuff, but then it all went clear. And so it's doing some things, but it's all, I think, just part of the drama. And so there's going to be, it's all about the drama, because the drama is what wakes people up. But if you're awake, that's where you got to keep yourself calm through the drama. You got to keep thinking, okay, remember, I know what's going on. this is all a part of it. So even when you hear things and stuff that people are saying and stuff, because there'll be a lot of people who are just going to be watching Wall Street, the news will be talking about it and be like, oh my God, the dollar's crashing. What are we going to do? You know, but our accounts are already switched. So we're already on it. And so what's supposed to happen next after that is this EBS thing, this emergency broadcast, which I don't know if that's going to be where they're going to start telling us that we need to stand. They're going to start telling the truth, because that has been an expectation for a long time by so many people, that we were going to kind of be stuck at home for a week listening 24 hours a day to them telling about the crimes of what's happening on the planet and all this stuff. So I don't know if that will be, but there's something about the EBS thing. But there's supposed to be by the 4th, everybody's supposed to be getting their appointments set up for the redemption centers. And the redemption centers, there's so if you're over 60, you get like a full payout. If you get Social Security, it's supposed to go up to like $5,500 a month. So whereas it was before like $1,600 a month, now it's going to go up to like $5,500 a month. So see that there's going to be a huge, like huge difference of the way we live, because not only is there going to be such a jump up in how much money we have coming in, but everything we have to pay out is going to go so small. Like, you're not going to have to pay for resources. You're not going to be paying for utilities and shit like that anymore. You're not going to be paying for all these payments, your credit cards and all that stuff. So you're going to have this excess of money, and things are going to be super cheap. But then, you know, you also are going to be more of the, you know, understanding of the not just being spendless or senseless spending, and the gluttony and the consumerism behind it, the consumption factor. And that instead, this is why I'm saying, like, if you are a clothing designer or any of that, clothing designers especially, I think are going to make a lot of money, because I think people are going to go to people who can make clothes, and they're going to actually get their clothes made for them by somebody, not just a store where you go and you get stuff and it's like nothing ever fits you right. You know, your sleeves are too short, the legs are too, you know, everything is never fits your body. It's a standardized fitting. So it will be, you know, people go pay good money to have some clothes that are fit them, that are made for them. So it's going to be a change in how we what's important to us, how we spend money. It's not going to be, you know, this, whatever they call it, drop fashion or whatever, just hurry, be on trend, and all this cheap fashion. It only needs to last one wear. And they've got all these slave people in there just making it a fucking gunpoint for all this consumerism to occur. And then it just fills up the dumps and stuff. It's just such a consumption, it's like such a dark energy. It has nowhere to go but to burden the lands, to burden where it's coming from. Oh, Miss Drama, Queen of the World. So, can you just wait a minute? Can you just come over here? Especially, this is like when she plays this little joke about, I want to ring the bell, but I really just want a treat. See? She goes in the kitchen. She just really wants a treat. So, I'll give you a treat in a minute. Let me finish what I'm doing. Come in here and lay down. Let me finish what I'm doing real quick. I'm almost done. I'll just finish up more. Hold on. It's 2:02. It's so weird because it's 2:02 and it's like, this is people are just now going home from the bar. I just saw in Bellingham, there was somebody who did a video, and they were in Bellingham. That's the closest, biggest town to me. And they were just showing this woman out in the street saging the road. She's just out there just saging everything. It's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on in Bellingham. I haven't gone into that town in a while. I usually just go to like Deming or Linden. I haven't been into Bellingham. But I would imagine there'd be crazy shit. It's a college town, and it's super progressive. So I don't know. I always let their stage in the road. But anyway, so when the money thing goes, but it also too, because what was it? It seemed like they were making a big drama about if the government was going to shut down, but I'm pretty sure it shut down at midnight. And that is this whole thing too, with the money thing going at midnight. And then, so all this stuff is going to occur at the first part of the week to make the dollar crash, but it's already done. It's already switched. And then we're going to start getting called into the redemption center things. So if you're over 60, you get like a full payout. And then I think it's over the next 12 months or something. But then it's the next step under that next age people, theirs is over 15 years. So it's like you make sure you have money every month. Like you don't have to worry at all. And then in that time too, you can be totally setting yourself up for, not ever having to worry again about money. It's all in your choices. So I don't know how much the money's going to be. Like the Social Security is going to be a lot, but they've made these people sick. They've made so many people sick, and they've put them through such a hard time. That's one thing too, is a lot of people have said, like the older people, like my mom's age and stuff, they're so stuck. So, this is gonna be very telling to me of how my mom handles all of this stuff. Like once the money thing goes, but there can be some more dramas that are gonna go. I mean, there's people just disappearing. Like, fuck, I don't know, maybe she's disappeared. Maybe it is the rapture. But I thought it would all happen at once, not just on different or security cameras all over the place. So, I don't know, it's strange. I don't know, the whole thing is strange. Everything that is happening is so strange. God, everything she does is so dramatic. I think she's going to lay out there a while. Sometimes she just wants to lay there. You can see her come up. Or she comes up and she'll look in the door and then she'll cry. And then I'll get up to walk over there and she'll cry 3 more times to make sure. It's like, how fast do you think I can walk? I already heard you the first time. Keep trying to get her. You've got to come up with other communications besides whining. Whining is so vague. You got to show me more what you're talking about. And, oh man, some of these videos I just keep seeing with the dog stuff. And then yesterday my neighbors were gone all day and their dogs were outside. Their dogs kept coming outside, and she had hung up one of those automatic movement Halloween things, and the poor dog, he would come out, and every time he would do something, that thing would start. It would go through a whole routine with the cackling and shaking the cage and let me out of here, let me out of here, just like the whole thing. And he would just stand there looking up. He was so frustrated. He was like, why does it keep doing that? You could tell he was so frustrated. He kept coming out, and he would come over and bark at me because I always will talk to him. And that other one came out, and so they were just having a rough time yesterday. And then this guy on some weird motorized bicycle kept going past. And then the dogs would bark at him, so he would bark at the dogs. So he was just like enjoying himself, but the dogs were like not enjoying it. And then they never came. I don't know when they ever came home, but I was like, oh my gosh, should I go feed the dogs or something? even though they can get out. But I just feel like so much as dogs are so not on the forefront of what people think about. Like, they don't consider them as having feelings or thoughts or experiences. They don't acknowledge them as a soul, you know. And this, I've seen some, like the rescue ones are one level, but there's like this one, this girl started arguing with a guy in the parking lot because he was punched his dog. And his dog was so scared, and he was so aggressive with his dog. And I know a lot of guys punch their dogs and stuff, but the way he was talking to the dog and stuff, it's just so disrespectful. But see, as a soul, when you come out and you go on the other side and you see that is like, what the spirit animal goes through, so you can learn to love and respect other beings, is a lot. That's a lot. And, oh, guys, there's just so many sad ones. I just saw this video. This dog, somebody was using this dog as, what is that? I've seen all these ones with these bait dogs. It's disgusting. I don't understand what's wrong with people. But use it as, to practice aiming, shooting for hunting. Yesterday, there was so much shooting out here. I couldn't believe it. I don't know what the fuck was going on. It was like non-stop shooting. It sounded like automatic weapons. So I don't know if these people are just out here getting prepared for what's to come. I don't know what the fuck. It's mental. But the dog who was being used for shooting at it was, oh my God, it was just so sad and beat down. I had to go through a bunch of surgeries and stuff. It's like, God damn, what is wrong with people? These people just dump their animals. They just abuse their animals. Just, oh my gosh, they just don't even see them as souls. Like, these are real living beings. This is because it doesn't speak the same language as you, because it looks different than you. And animals are communicating. They communicate with each other all the time. They have a total language, total communication. They use their bodies. They use sounds. They use the pitch of their voice. They are developed communicators. And to the point even where they are becoming bilingual. The people don't have to try and understand the dogs. The dogs will take the next step to try and for the people to understand them. They'll start using the words to communicate. They'll do everything they can. And, to the point where they're the ones who are becoming smarter than the people. Because the people can't develop. The people can't pay attention. You can't pay attention to the dog's signs and signals. You can't pay attention to how the dogs interact, how the dogs communicate. Like, is that hard? It seems like a pretty simple communication. I mean, and then you just totally have a certain bark. If some stranger's walking down the neighborhood, they start at one end of the neighborhood and they all start telling each other the whole way. And as the person goes, they all bark to signaling one another. They all have eyes. Like, they're very good at communicating. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know why people can't see them as intelligent beings and just so loving too. Just loving beings, they just want to spread love and give love and enjoy life. And humans are the ones with a lot of issues because they're so busy wanting to please everybody else and be perfect and be successful and all this stuff. They're so driven and drive themselves right into the ground and take everything down with it. And so it's, that's this whole thing about us evolving, our lifestyles evolving, our ways of looking at things, ways of life. But anyways, whatever the different money amounts it's going to be, and you think about like a husband and wife are both going to be getting these, paid settlements that are going to be going. And there's going to be all sorts of housing and stuff that's going to be free. All the land, you're not going to have to worry about that. And there's going to be all sorts of different kinds of communities that'll be coming. And you can go out and be the builders of ones. You can go out and participate in them. And I don't know. I think there will be more, but I don't know how much more drama, we'll have to go through with all the whole thing. Because, we have a lot more people here that are being put here. But it's probably because just go look at the doomsday map. Like, to me, it seems like it was certain parts of America that seem like a really safe place to put a lot of people during a cataclysmic event where there's a lot of stuff happening. Because, like you can be in Nebraska and not feel what's happening to the planet in California. If it falls off the planet, it's not going to affect us much if we're in that part. But if we're over in this part, we'll all go down with the fucking planet, So that is why I think that, I kind of feel like that the doomsday map was kind of like a soft open of what's to come, because I've seen not just Putin, but other leaders come out and say, we have a cataclysm coming. We need to talk about it. That one scientist from NASA who's out there crying, we need to talk about this. I'm so, I'm freaking out. But, they can't tell us everything at once. And it's like a lot of information. So you can see why they have to do these, like, we'll just evacuate them without them knowing. We'll just do this without them knowing. And it all plays a part of the game. It all plays perfect into the awakening. It plays perfect into getting people into places and creating drama and getting people's attention and getting people to pay attention. But all these things that purge up, all the things that start coming out of people, the hatefulness and stuff that people got to see, that side of themselves where they want to divide against other human beings, that they see them as being different. I've seen videos in it, and I do know that, how other people eat in other countries is not all the same. I know that there's people who eat what we think of as pets that they think of as food. And I know that that's true. And all the way back, I swear, when I was 20 years old, my sister and I went to this little Oriental restaurant that was near us. And it had this dish. She loved it. And it was called like Catsman Stew or something like that. And she wanted me to try it. And I'm like, that's weird. Don't you think it's probably cat? And she's like, no, it's chicken. And I'm like, I don't know. I think it's probably really cat. And what chicken is like this? And so I got it one time, and it was the same thing where I was like, this does not seem like chicken. Maybe a rat or something. This does not seem like chicken. And it is, the whole thing is weird. I've seen where people have found like Chinese restaurants where they have like, it isn't just, like they're getting the whole cats sent to them, like where they have found whole body parts and stuff in like McDonald's and stuff. They've found bodies being parted out. It's the same thing. Like they bags of cats delivered to them and stuff. So, and so there's video. This person was freaking out because this restaurant seemed like that was a restaurant, and they were stealing neighbors' cats and then cooking them in the restaurant. And they were like, these people do not think like us, and they're coming into our country. So, see, there's a lot of division, but see, that's one thing, too, where we have to accept everybody is, like, we're all different. Everybody, it doesn't mean they have less value. Like, what we eat seems gross to everybody, has their own thing. And that's something for us to see, to see like they don't even give dogs and cats any respect at all as being anything above, but we don't with chickens, cows, pigs, rabbits, deers, turtles, frog, like what is there that people don't eat? They don't, I mean, we even eat each other, apparently. But anyways, so then all of a sudden for us to like have a moral, like, oh no, You can't eat the dogs and the cats. You're bad people now. Like, we can eat everything, but if you eat what we think of, that's where we have to look at ourselves. Like, what in the wackadoo shit's going on in our own minds. But that is all a part of the awakening. All of these conversations, these examples of differences, of things that make us different. It's the cultural kind of differences, and so it's things that we need to learn to not divide on. We need to learn to accept people for who they are and how they look at their life and how they want to live it. It's their experience. It's their repercussions. It's their, it's their life review. It's their thing. It doesn't have anything really to do with us. But for some reason, we just get into these things where we want to control everybody. Confirmation. We want to control everybody, and we want everybody to be what we want them to be. We want them to be, it's not just like be like us, but we want everybody to be like us, but it's not necessarily like that we are the trendsetter. It's like we decide what we think is acceptable, and then we want everybody to be like that, what we feel is acceptable. And so, but we have to learn that everybody has their own feeling of being acceptable, and we have to acknowledge that in order to really accept others. Is to be acceptable has to be accepting, So it's all of us expanding. But I think it's a big part of this coming together is just this huge amount of people of all these different places, and us seeing, that they all have just as much value as us. Everybody has the same value, and they are displaced. I mean, they are here in a strange place. It's super expensive. Food's expensive. Food's poisonous. I mean, they've got, and I think that they were directed to come here. So I can see why they would be frustrated. They've been going through shit like fucking people in Venezuela and stuff. Fucking generations and generations of poverty and crime. Like, there's a lot of places. Iraq, like, there's a lot of places why this is going to be such a, God, if I could just get that word. Keeps on being this, like, right there. Oh, I swear you hear it in Holocaust movies or something. Or World War II movies. But, is going into this, just this period of time of freedom, of sovereignty on all levels. So the countries, the people, the humans, everything. It's like micro and macro. So anyways, all of this stuff happening, just all the things, just gotta keep looking deeper. Don't get caught up in the drama. Go into yourself and see, how do I feel about all of these things really in my heart? When you go in deeper, you cut back from the 3D, the fear, and there's not enough, and they're taking from you, and all of those things. When you really start just considering these are displaced human beings, and we've got to come together. This government, these controllers have just been whipping us around far too long. We need to come together with people that we don't know, that we don't understand, and we still need to stand up for their rights. We need to all stand together for human rights, and that's the action that we take. That's the action that changes everything. All these things, when people are going to notice themselves, the words coming out of their mouths, they're going to catch themselves, and they're going to realize, like, oh, gosh, I am divisive. I'm hateful. I'm judgmental. You start catching yourself. That's when you see, but don't be hard on yourself and judge yourself. And, there's going to be a lot going on that's going to be, you're going to get plenty of time to judge yourself throughout this transition. You're going to get plenty of time to get a hard look at yourself. And you've got to be easy on yourself, not be hard on yourself. You got to be gentle and allow yourself to be ignorant, allow yourself to be the bad guy, allow yourself to be all these things that you want to pretend like it's only certain people are this way. No, it's all people, all people, not just certain people. We're all things. So anyways, over this week, it seems like it's going to be a lot going on, but it does seem like really positive. Like I feel so much more like I don't need to worry about any of the stuff about the house payment now. I don't know. It seems like we won't even seem like we really need to worry much about any kind of dry period without money. It seems like right away they're just going to start putting money, but there's going to be just crashing of jobs, of businesses, of governments. There's going to be a lot of everything going down. So, but this should be when, Joe goes down. This should be when Joe goes down, and also, Trump will be the last president in the sense of, he's going to transition us into being more independent, being more, back to the different tribes, didn't tell the other tribes how to live, where you went to be a part of that tribe, then you participated in their rules, but they didn't put their rules on all the other ones. So we're going to go back to that. So however each tribe or each village or each township or whatever is developed, how those structure, those leaders, there will be in that just for that region, just for that area, just for the people who want to participate. It won't be an overall. So this is like a transition, a step down from the government. So Trump will step back in because he's the rightful person anyways. We'll go through all of those crimes and everything that happened, and oh my God, can you believe it? And at the same time, there's going to be this, kind of herding us into safer places. At the same time, there's going to be still storms and disasters happening. Like there's going to be a lot going on, but there will be relief in the fact that you won't have to worry about bills and money and stuff. And it will, I think, help a lot of people to see like, okay, we are going to go into better times. We're going to switch. Things are going to become better for us. Don't get down before things get better, It's like things are about to get really good for us. And so it's going to be a blessing. And then it's going to be like all of the, where we're like, oh, get me out of here, get me out of here. And then it'll be like, oh, thank God I didn't. Thank God they didn't take me away. But that's why you can't tap out. You can't just like, when things are hard, you can whine and complain about it. You can tell them all day. You can scream and shout at your guides. You can whine and cry and stomp. But, it's a part of the process. And, to be able to jump out on every little hard thing would be a defeatist way of incarnating. So you have to write out some of the stuff, but there will be a point where it'd be like, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm here now. I'm so glad for this, because of the experiences that we'll get to have of, just getting to go out and just experience life, not having to work so hard and stuff. But keep that in mind too. Like you don't want to take on too much. Like think, well, I'm going to get a big farm and I'm going to do the. Don't get yourself in over your head like that girl. Like 12 acres and 2 little girls and her by themselves. That's a lot. Like I don't know, why she wasn't already moving out siblings and parents and get more family members to start coming out and putting up places. 12 acres is a pretty big piece of property. Like you can have, several people. Like just think you could put 12 people on 1 acre lots, which you could even have it more condensed in some places. Like you see how they kind of set up some of these little tiny home villages and stuff, and not the camp like ones. Like look at the ones like in Austin, or I think in Kansas City. There's some different places where they've set up these tiny home villages that are cool as fuck. So cool. Like, oh my God, there's such cool shit you could do with a small amount of area. They've got social areas, and they got a whole, like, it's set up like it's a miniature village or something. So, setting up, like, a commune doesn't have to be everyone living in the same house. You have all different things. There's all different ways of living. There's all different ways of existing and being, and this is where you get to open up to you and figure out, what is that? How is it I want to live? Where do I want to live? What kind of people do I want to be around? But you can, get in little places where it's acreage like that and have a little tiny village set up, and everybody kind of just works together in cooperation. If you take something, then you have to participate in, like, if you want food, then you have to grow it. If you want this, everybody has roles to play, in the education or whatever. That's living as a community. And it will be on all different levels. There'll be some that are really small, and it'll be bigger, all different. And so, just be open-minded about everything as you're going into this. Because if you find yourself closing off, you'll find that it is a paradigm. It's a structure. It's a implanted thought. It's a limitation. It's something to keep you controlled and limited. So break through those. Notice when you are putting them up for yourself, and keep breaking through them and keep bringing them down, asking yourself, why would I think that? Why would I feel that way? And ask yourself if it makes sense, and if it makes sense right then let it go. And then if it comes up again, re-ask yourself, and, go through it again. You'll have a completely different outlook. Each moment of each day is a new outlook. No moment is going to be the same moment again. It's a complete new moment every single time, because new things are happening all the time. Oh, yeah. Yesterday, we were outside a lot. I was outside doing all this stuff because this is my house. I feel so excited. Oh, I feel so excited. And I'm still glad I sent that letter, because yesterday, or last week, I kept thinking I should send it, even if the guy never sees it, even if he never goes back to work and never sees it. Just the energy, just the closure of it. And who knows? I mean, maybe there will be some drama this week where people will be going to work and trying to keep this place going as it's crashing around them. It's going to play out in all different ways. But I still feel like that there's the dad's gone. They can't. It's all on my side now. No matter what they do, there's nothing. So, and I don't think that they're going to be able to go after. I think it's all going to stop. So I think this is it. This is my place. And so when we were outside, and I was doing some stuff out in the yard. I've just been out there just doing stuff. It's been so fun. It's just like, oh my gosh, it looks so good. It's just so crazy. The smallest things you can do. And all of a sudden, this black squirrel came tearing across the street, came running up, goes charging up this tree, and ran right past Stella. Stella jumped up like, what the fuck? And so I look over, and I'm like, oh, I was like, what was scaring this squirrel? It was that motherfucking Bert. Bert was out there. He is such a predator, that cat. And the neighbor feeds him canned food and shit. It's not like the guy doesn't have food and he needs to go out and kill things, but he's like, go and kill a goddamn squirrel. This guy is a blatant murderer. I'm over there, yeah, Bert, go home, you predator. He's such a brat. Like, fuck. There's some bratty animals. And Bert is one. He is bitten by wants to murder bug. Like, he's got plenty of food in his dish at home, but no, he wants a fucking clean kill. He wants to taste that blood coming out. He's such a little bitch ass. He's always over there in those bushes, climbing up in there, trying to get the birds' nests and stuff. God, he's a drama king. He's always got drama going with that. He's out there harassing them when the birds are screaming and stuff. It's just fucking Bert. And I wanted to tell him yesterday, karma's a bitch, dude. Don't you forget, mountain lions and shit come down here. Coyotes are gonna just chomp your ass up, dude. So, anyways, Stella's all bitching, and haven't talked in a while, but I'm super excited. So anyways, if you just watch for those things over the next couple days. So we should see Wall Street plummeting. You can go check the debt calculator yourself and see what's going on with it this morning. And I don't know if on Twitter or X or whatever, on Instagram, Facebook, or any of this stuff, if it's showing all of this stuff. On TikTok, there was tons and tons and tons. Whereas, like, there's way more people than just Nassar Gassara people looking at this. This has got a lot of people's attention. So, I don't know. It seemed like a lot of people were excited. Like, a lot of people know that this is going to end debt for us. This is it. We don't have to, they can't make us pay for any of their fucking bullshit anymore. So, but there'll still be people, you know, until it's, they'll send in their house payments, send in their payments, and won't realize even this week. So anyways, there should be a lot of stuff that goes on this week. I'll get this one started downloading, and I'm excited. I'm really excited. So everybody just, you know, just, you guys still stay on, you know, on your toes. There's still going to be a lot of drama that's going to be happening while things are going, but, you know, at least you don't have to have debt anymore. There's not going to be, it's going to be gone. But anyways, if you're still nervous, like so many people, just keep watching it. There's going to be this drama that's going to go with the rock and the dinar, and there's going to be drama on Wall Street. So watch those things and just keep on getting rid of the, you know, just keep filtering yourself through the dark energy, letting it go, letting it go. You know, that's all you can do. You're doing everything right. If you are paying attention to yourself, you're paying attention to the world, and when things bother you, you're asking yourself questions, you're trying to work through it, you're trying to grow, you know, you're not just sinking into all of your feelings and your fears and your trauma, you're actually trying to walk yourself through it. You're doing everything, you know, that you're supposed to do. So, you know, don't stress that you're not doing enough or you're not doing the right thing. It may seem like it's simple, and because it really is simple, you know, but it also takes time, and that's what they, you know, they don't want you to have a lot of time. They want to keep you distracted on the time that you do have. But anyways, I will talk to you later because Miss Drama Queen is going to just keep up. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.